Imagine a world where a single man owns the sun, the moon, and your very soul. A king so powerful he does not just demand your taxes, he demands your worship. Deep in the shifting sands of ancient Mesopotamia, a name still whispers through the ruins of Babylon: Nimrod. He was the first person in history to look at the heavens and declare himself a god. For 400 years he ruled with an iron fist, convinced that no power on earth or in the sky could ever challenge his throne. But history has a way of silencing the loudest voices with the smallest of sounds. This is the investigation into a clash that shook the foundations of the ancient world, a battle between a tyrant who claimed to be the creator and a young man who knew the truth. This is the story of Ibrahim and the fall of the king who thought he was God. Long before the empire was built on blood, Nimrod was known as a just ruler. But as his kingdom expanded from the north to the south, his heart turned to stone. He did not just build cities like Nineveh and Calah, he built an ideology of absolute submission. In the squares of Babylon, statues of gold, silver, and bronze were erected, but the greatest idol was the king himself. To live in his city, you had to bow to his image or face a swift and brutal death. The people did not just fear him, they were taught that he controlled the very life and death of every subject. The temples became factories of idols, churning out gods of wood and stone for a population that had forgotten the stars. But then the king had a dream. It was a vision so terrifying it made the man who feared nothing wake up drenched in sweat. A blinding light descended from the heavens, a light so intense that it extinguished the sun, the moon, and every star in the sky. From the shadows of this light, a hand reached out and threw Nimrod from his throne. The king's astrologers and magicians gathered in the darkest room of the palace to decode the nightmare. Their conclusion was a death sentence for thousands. A boy would soon be born who would destroy the king's religion and his empire. Nimrod did not hesitate. He ordered the slaughter of every male infant born in Babylon. 100,000 children were murdered, and the Euphrates River ran red with the blood of the innocent.
In the middle of this massacre, a woman named Amathli felt the first pains of labor. Her husband, Azar, was Nimrod's own idol maker, a man loyal to the king who would sacrifice anything for status. To save her child, Amathli fled into the darkness, her bare feet bleeding as she reached a cold, silent cave outside the city. There, in the shadows, Ibrahim was born. He did not cry, he only watched with eyes that seemed to hold a light of their own. To protect him, his mother left him in the deepest corner of that cave, returning only in secret to feed him. But sources say Ibrahim was never truly alone. Legend tells of an angel who fed the child milk and honey from his own fingers, guarding the boy while the king's executioners searched the streets above. Ibrahim grew up in that silence, isolated from the corruption of the city. While other children were taught to bow to statues, Ibrahim was learning the language of the universe. When he finally stepped out of the cave as a young man, he was shocked by what he saw. He walked through the markets and saw people weeping before blocks of wood and pouring oil on cold stones. He found his own father, Azar, in a workshop carefully carving ears onto a statue. Ibrahim asked a simple question that hit like a hammer. Can this thing hear you?" Azar's only response was anger, a warning to never speak against the gods of Babylon. Ibrahim began a lonely investigation into the nature of power. One night he climbed a hill to escape the smell of incense and idol worship. He saw the star Venus rising, a light so bright the people offered it sacrifices. For a moment he wondered if this was the Lord of the worlds, but then the star sank below the horizon. "I do not love those that set," he whispered. Then came the moon, massive and silver, commanding the night, but it too faded when the sun rose. Finally the sun appeared in all its glory, the biggest god of the Babylonian people.
If this story touched your heart, follow for more. Subscribe so you don't miss what comes next. Assalamu alaikum.